All right. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Life Simplified webinar. I am so excited you're here. My name is Amanda, and I am your webinar leader for tonight. And I just wanted to jump in real quick and give a huge shout out to Lauren and Aaron, who were the co-coaches with me in this group. You ladies rocked it out. We had a great time, and we're so glad that everyone could join us. If you are joining us for the recording, we're sorry you missed it, but we're going to pass on all kinds of info for you, so we're super excited. Let me tell you a little bit about me while we're waiting for some people to get on and when we get started. So again, my name's Amanda, and I am a wife. I am a mama-to-be, 29 weeks as of today. And I have had many, many struggles in my life. And I'm assuming that if anyone is on this call, that there's a lot of people maybe who have felt the same way I do and have dealt with so much pain and so much struggle. But I'm glad you're here because we're here together. We go through struggles together and we get through them together because we get better together. So I wanted to share a little bit of information, just a little background, just a little bit about me, and tell you a little transformation story just about myself. So I'm going to start about 3 years ago. And this was at a time in my life where things just weren't as I wanted them to be. Like I said before, I had lots of struggles, so many things going on in my life, from dealing with being overweight my entire life to dealing with family trauma, domestic violence in my family, and just kind of living a lifestyle that I didn't necessarily want to live, but I felt like I had to live because I had no confidence. And so I went around for a very long time, and I was working jobs after jobs after jobs, just trying to find what was good for me, what was my fit, what was my purpose. And I had left the restaurant business, and I was working in doctor's offices for a while. And I actually got fired from a job, and I was going back to school for nursing. And so everything kind of got piled on my plate. I was going to school full-time, as well as I worked 3 part-time jobs. I was a part-time medical assistant. I worked in a bar, as well as I would nanny for a friend of mine overnight, a couple nights a week. And so I was busy. My life was crazy hectic. I wasn't taking care of myself. I burned the midnight oil, and I'm sure a lot of you guys understand what that feels like. I was tired all the time. I had no energy. I was constantly just sucking on like energy drinks, sugar-free Red Bulls. And then when I would go out, I would just top that off with alcohol. It was just a really hot mess period in my life. Well, things started to calm down a little bit when I got a full-time job working in the community as a wraparound facilitator, and I loved it. It was something that I could do with my degree. I have a bachelor's degree in psychology. It was something I could do with my job and with my degree, and I loved it. But unfortunately, working in the community and working with people in the community and community mental health was very draining. And when you don't know how to take care of yourself and you don't know how to simplify your life, things get even more chaotic and things tend to spiral even more out of control. And so that's what was happening with my life. I was working over 40 hours a week, and I was salary, so I wasn't getting paid for anything more than that. I was constantly in my car. I was going from people's homes, from home to home, as well as trying to, I was meeting people at court and things like that, just so that I could, work with them one-on-one. And it literally was draining my life away. I felt my energy slipping. I felt my attitude and my mood slipping, and I wasn't the person who I wanted to be. And it affected every area of my life. It affected my relationships with my friends. I was crabby. I was irritable. I was dating my husband at the time. We weren't married yet. But I kind of just felt like I had a black cloud over my head. And even my supervisor at the time, she was like, you know, there's just something different about you. You don't have that same spark. You don't have that same energy for you, you know, that you had when you started. And I was like, you know, this is so hard. I'm drained. I'm emotionally drained. I'm physically drained. I was eating on the go. And so fast food was my best friend. And I ended up gaining even more weight on top of the weight that I had already gained. And so I was teetering at over 215 pounds, and I was out of control with my life. I mean, let's just be honest. I was out of control with my life. And I was introduced to some things that helped me to change my life and to get things back on track and to put things in perspective. And so what I'd like to do is I'd like to share with you some of those tips that helped me to get control of my life, to help me get back where I wanted to be, so that I could be a productive person, so that I could heal my relationships, and so that I could live my life simpler and better, the way that it was designed to be. So I'm going to share with you 3 things that have helped me over the last 3 years to get to where I am today. Now, am I perfect? Oh, no, absolutely not. There's nothing perfect about me. I still struggle with clutter, and that was the whole purpose of why we do a lot of these things. Is I still have a messy desk sometimes, and sometimes I'm short and, you know, with people, and sometimes I hold grudges, but I'm not who I was, and it's more under control now, and these 3 things definitely helped me. So the first thing that helped me out was personal development. And personal development, I used to think was like, oh, self-help, and you know, like this is icky, this isn't for me, or it's really like this spiritual kind of voodoo, and I don't want any part of it. But when I started to develop and get into personal development, I realized that there were areas of my life that I needed to improve on. One of those was dealing with a lot of my past hurts and past traumas, and dealing with those meant that I had to be vulnerable. And that was hard for me, being transparent, being vulnerable, living under this guise of being perfect. If anybody out there, if you are a people pleaser like I am, then you know that a lot of times you put people first before you put your own needs first. And I had to learn and develop ways that I could learn to take care of me first, that I could learn to sit down and read a book and rest and invest in myself, so that I could invest in other people, because I was literally pouring from an empty cup. And so personal development helped me to work on those areas in my life that I knew that I just desperately needed to improve on. And there were lots of them. Let me just be really honest with you. I had lots of areas in my life that I need to work on. And I reached out to people and said, hey, well, I'm really struggling with this. What are some good books, or what are some good things that you think I should listen to, so that I can grow and develop in this area? And I'm so thankful for the people that I had in my life that showed me those and showed me that and pointed me in the right direction. So personal development is huge. That's so important, to take care of yourself, to invest in yourself, to fill up your cup, and then so that you can pour out to other people. And it helps to declutter your mind, and it helps to simplify everything that you end up doing from that point on. The second one was getting control of my health and fitness. And this probably was one of the hardest things for me to do. I lived a very out of control lifestyle, like I told you. I was drinking a lot. I was smoking. I was running all over the place. I slept awful, and I never found time to take care of myself, because let's face it, life is busy. When you're working over 40 hours a week, when you are, you know, maybe you have kids and you have all these things that get in the way, and you're taking care of other people before you're taking care of yourself, our health, our fitness, it tends to go to the wayside. And honestly, that's one of the first things that goes, is taking care of our health, right? Because we're resorting to doing those things that are like, oh, it's just easier for me to go get some McDonald's. right now than it is for me to go home and make sure that I'm meal prepping on a Sunday, because Sunday, that's football day. I want to go out, right? I want to go do things. And so making sure that I got my health and fitness was huge. I had to. I was way overweight. I was over 50 pounds overweight. I was tired. I was sluggish. I had knee problems. I couldn't even get through a day without being so sore. And I was tired, and it wore on my confidence, and it wore on who I was as a person. And I desperately wanted to feel good, right? I wanted to feel so good, but I didn't have that, and I didn't know how to do that. And I don't know, maybe some of you are like me and you're like, I've tried things like this. I've tried health and fitness, and you do really well. And then like maybe after a month, maybe after a week or two, you're like, that's it. I'm done. There's no more time for me. Things just keep getting in the way. And that's what happened with me. So I really had to buckle down and make time for myself and prioritize myself to find out how I could like fit that health and fitness in. How could I make 30 minutes for me a day to go through a workout, to do something that was going to make my body feel better so that I could have more energy and feel better? How could I learn how to pack healthy snacks or eat right so that I could give my body the energy that it needs when I go through these super long days, right? So that I'm not hitting up McDonald's or Starbucks every morning on my way into work or in between clients or in between court sessions. And just knowing that I was in control of that. So taking care of my health and fitness became a top priority for me. And then the third thing that helped me in this transformation was support. And I don't know about you guys, but I need community. We were designed for community. We were designed to do things together, to be better together. And we forget about that. And we think so often that we don't want to do things with people because people will, it's that vulnerability thing, right? I know for me, I was like, I don't want people to see who I really am. I don't want people to know that I'm struggling. And I don't want people to know that sometimes I just really suck at life, right? And so I put on this front and I'd be like, no, I can do it. I can handle it by myself. But once I found a community and had people rally behind me that were like, you know what, I believe in you and I know that you can do this and I know you can change your life and I'm here to help you. That when I fell, they picked me up and said, okay, dust it off. It's time to start over again. That helped me in so many ways because then I was able to break my walls down. And I was able to let people in. And doing that, I made the most incredible friends that are like still friends that still reach out and say, hey, how's everything going? Or, hey, saw in your post the other day, things look kind of rough. What's going on? Let's talk. Let's chat. And they support me 100% of the way. So making sure that I was taking care of my mind and my soul, my spirit with personal development, whether it was reading a book, whether it was listening to a webcast or webinars like this from people who were a lot smarter than I am, taking care of my health and my fitness, making me a priority, and then having a community of people of support. Those are the three things that helped me go from that transformation of a chaotic life to a life that's now simplified. That's not perfect, but it's a lot better than it was. To where I finally feel free and like I have victory over these areas in my life where I struggled for so long, whether it was eating, whether it was trying to take care of my schedule, prioritizing myself, taking care of other people. When I was including those three things into my daily life, it made me a better person. And so if you're on this call tonight, you're probably like, okay, that's great, Amanda. That's awesome for you. I'm glad this worked. But I've done it. I've tried this. This doesn't work. I'm here to tell you, it does. It will. It can. And that's where we come in and do these little things called groups so that we can help you wherever you're at in your journey. We want you to go from that chaotic life where you feel like you can't handle anymore, where you're done, you're fed up, you're like, I can't take control of anything. And we want you to feel empowered and know that you can be successful in all of these areas of your life. It's not perfect. We're never going to be perfect. But you can do this. And so every month we host 30-day groups for people just like you, whether you're watching live or whether you're catching this on a recording, for people like you, for people like me who desperately need something to change so that we can be good, so that we can feel good, so that we can feel empowered, so that we can wake up in the morning and go, I got today. I'm not going to hit snooze. I'm not going to go back to bed and roll over. I got this. I'm going to own today. And what does that look like? What do these groups look like? If you were in our Life Simplified group, you saw a little glimpse of it. It's a community of people that are lifting you up, that are supporting you, where we give you meal plans, we give you nutrition, we give you tips and tricks for how to be better, to get your health and fitness under control. We plug you in with a program. I mean, right now there are like over 1,000 workouts that you can get, that we will help you pick something that works for you. Not works for me, because what works for me is going to be different than you, but that works for you, that fits into your time schedule, where you can take that time to take care of yourself. And we provide the support to say, hey, you know what? We got your back. You may fall, but we're here to help you up. And we're not letting you go. I always tell people that you literally have to fire me or get a restraining order for me to not love you enough to just let you go, to not support you anymore. Because that's so important to me, because I know how it feels when someone has your back and believes in you. And we believe in you. And that's why you're here. Because you want someone to believe in you, because you want to feel good, because you want to feel confident, you want to feel strong, and you want to get this thing called life somewhat under control. And so right now we have a group that starts in the next week, and we are going to be plugging people into this group and finding out what works for you, finding out how we can help you, what your goals are in life, and how we can get you there. All you have to do is just show up. Show up, make a decision, commit to it, and we will help you succeed. Thank you, guys. We want to talk to you more about our group and what to expect, and we want to open the floor. I want to open the floor for some questions that you guys have right now, and then we are doing a drawing for everyone who hopped on live. I got my girl Lauren over there. She's working it out. She's like my personal sidekick. I love it. I was like, hey, can you do this for me? I love her. So what I'm going to do is I am going to stop the recording for the webinar. And then if you have any questions, if you have anything that we talked about in the group that you want to ask, if you have any other questions just about transforming your life or what works for me, what works for Lauren, we'd love to answer those for you. So I'm going to open this up.